Hey cousins, this is our project for today. Let's just get right into it. I'm going to be using my 5mm hook and some medium weight 4 yarn. I have 4 colors that I'm going to be working with. This top is made out of sunburst granny squares, so we're going to start with making those first. With your center color, you are going to start by making a magic circle, and then once you have your magic circle, you are going to chain up 3. 1, 2, 3. And that chain 3 does count as your first double crochet. And then in that ring, we are going to insert 15 more double crochets to have a total of 16. As you get closer to the end, you are going to pull your short tail just to close the ring and make it tighter so you don't have a hole in the middle. Once you have all your stitches, you're going to insert your hook into the top of that chain 3 with a slip stitch to close the round. And then I'm just going to chain 1 and cut and fasten off because I'm going to be switching to my next color for the next round. With your next color, you are going to attach it to your work with a slip stitch, and you're going to insert it into the top of any of these double crochet stitches. It doesn't matter which one. So I'm going to insert my hook right here, and I'm going to pull up a loop and pull it through as a slip stitch. And then it is now attached, and then once I have it on there, I'm going to chain up 2. Now once you have your chain 2, we are going to be doing what we call a puff stitch. So you're going to yarn over into your hook into that same stitch where you chain 2 from, pull up a loop, and then you're going to yarn over again and insert your hook back into that same space and pull up another loop. And once you have all loops on your hook, you are going to yarn over and pull through all. Once you pull through all your loops, you are going to chain up 1. And then we're going to repeat that same process in the next stitch and the same thing for the whole round. So I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook, pull up a loop. I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook again. And I'm going to do it one more time. Yarn over, insert my hook, and pull up a loop. So that's 3 times that we went in. And then I'm going to yarn over and pull through all my loops. And then I'm going to chain 1. So I'm just going to repeat that, making sure to go into each stitch, and you're going to do that 3 times. This is our second time. And yarn over, insert my hook, and the third time pull up a loop, and then I'm going to yarn over and pull through all my loops and do my chain 1. So continue that all the way around this for round 2, making sure that you're ending with 16 puff stitches. You want to make sure you have 16 puff stitches. If you don't have 16 stitches, your granny square is going to be off. Alright, so I have finished round 2 with my 16 puff stitches, and I went ahead and cut and fasten off because I'm going to be switching to my third color now for the next round. Alright, so with your third color, you are going to attach it with a slip stitch again, just like we did in round 2, and you are going to attach your yarn in any of these chain 1 spaces. So we're not going in the top of any stitch, we're just going into the space. So I'm going to insert my hook here, pull up a loop, and create a slip stitch. So once you have your color attached, you're going to go ahead and chain up 3. So we have 1, 2, and 3. And then this row is going to be a little similar to round 2. So I'm going to yarn over and insert my hook and pull up a loop. And then it just has an extra step, so I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2. And then I'm going to yarn over and go back into that space and pull up another loop. And then I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2 again. So I have 3 loops on my hook. So I'm going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And then once I pull through all 3, I'm going to chain 2. Now we're going to go into the next space and complete another stitch. So I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook into that space and pull up a loop. And then remember, we're going to yarn over and pull through 2. Then we're going to yarn over again and go back into that space and pull up a loop. I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2. And then I'm going to do that one more time. Yarn over, insert my hook, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, and you should have 4 loops on your hook now. And then I'm going to yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. And then once you pull through all 4, you're just going to chain 2 and then go into the next space and repeat the same thing. So you're going to be going into your spaces 3 times before you pull through all. So I'm going to yarn over, go into my space, pull through 2, yarn over, go back into that space, and I'm going to pull through 2 again, and then I'm going to do that one more time. And you're just going to repeat this for this remainder of this round. So you're just going to go ahead, after each stitch you're going to chain 2 always, and then you're just going to go right into the next space, completing the same thing. So continue doing that until you reach the end of this round. As you reach the end of the round, you should have your chain 2 on your hook, and then to close the round, you're just going to insert your hook into the top of that stitch, that first stitch that we did with the slip stitch, just to close the round. Once you have it closed, you're going to chain 1 and cut and fasten off because we are done with this color. And this is what your work should be looking like at the end of round 3. So you're going to go ahead and repeat this for a total of 20. So you are going to need 4 for the front, 4 for the back, and then you're also going to need 6 for each sleeve. And then we are going to use the join as you go method, so that is why we haven't completed the round 4 yet. So once you have all your squares completed, we are going to start working on the sleeves first. So with the sleeves, with your 4th color, you're going to insert that color into any of these spaces here with a slip stitch to attach. And once you have your color attached, you're going to go ahead and chain up 4. And that is going to count as your first treble crochet. So to make a treble crochet, you're going to yarn over twice, and then you're going to insert your hook into that space and pull up a loop. You are going to yarn over and pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops again, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops again. And again, so we are going to have 3. So we're going to yarn over twice and go back into that space, completing another treble crochet. So you're going to yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2 again. So we have completed 3 treble crochets. Remember that chain 4 in the beginning does count as a treble crochet. So into the next space, we are going to insert 3 double crochets. Once you've completed your 3 double crochets, you're going to go into the next space with 3 half double crochets. And please do not cheat on this part. If I'm saying half double crochet, please do half double crochet. Don't do double crochet because you feel like it just looks better. There's a reason for why we're doing half double crochets. And once you've completed your half double crochets, in the next space you're going to go back and insert 3 double crochets. So the pattern is going to be treble crochets, then you're going to do your 3 double crochets, your 3 half double crochets, your 3 double crochets, and then we're going to go back to our treble crochets again to complete a corner stitch. So in this next space I'm going to insert 3 treble crochets. And once you complete your 3 treble crochets, you're going to chain 1, and then we're going to go back into the same space because this is going to be our corner stitch. So we're going to go back in with 3 more treble crochets. And then we're going to go back to following that pattern like we did before. So after we did our treble crochets, we're going to do 3 double crochets, 3 half double crochets, 3 double crochets, and then back to our treble crochets again for our corner stitch. So you can go ahead and repeat that pattern until you reach the last side of your square. So we're going to follow the pattern for 3 sides and leave the 4th side open. So I will meet you back at the corner right before I start my 4th side. Okay, so I'm coming up on my 4th side as you see here. So I'm going to go ahead and insert my 3 treble crochets, and then I'm going to stop. I'm not going to complete that corner stitch because this is where we're going to start joining our new squares, so you're not going to complete that whole entire corner. So we have 3 treble crochets right here. So with these 3 treble crochets, you're now going to grab your next square. So you are going to chain up 1, and then you're going to grab your next square. So with that chain 1 on your hook, you are going to yarn over twice like you're getting ready to work a treble crochet, because you are, but you are going to insert that treble crochet stitch into the next square. So you're going to insert your hook and complete that treble stitch. And that is 1, and you're going to go ahead with 2 more to have a total of 3. Once you have your 3 treble crochets, you're going to turn your work to be side by side because it's easier to work this way. So with your treble crochets, you are going to slip stitch to your right. So you're going to slip stitch into this space right here to connect the 2 squares together. So I'm going to insert my hook into this space, and then I'm going to pull up a loop for a slip stitch. And now we're going to go back into this space right here with our 3 double crochets, because that is what the pattern calls for. So the next the next space, you would insert 3 double crochets, and then you're going to go over to your right square with a slip stitch to connect it. So you have your 3 stitches here. So now I'm going to go over into this space right here, insert my hook with a slip stitch to connect it. Okay, now we're going to continue the pattern. So in the next space, it should be our 3 half double crochets. So I'm going to insert 3 half double crochets, and then we are going to slip stitch to the right. So we're kind of going in like a zigzag motion. We're just going left and right, left and right, left and right. So we insert our stitches on the left, and then we slip stitch to the right. All right. And then if you're following the pattern, the next space, it should be 3 double crochets again. All right, and then in this next space, we're going to insert our 3 treble crochets. And I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into the chain 1 space. So in the corner stitch where we chained 1, that's where I'm going to insert my hook with a slip stitch. All right, so now I'm going to chain 1, and then we're going to complete this corner stitch. So I'm going to go back into this space with 3 more treble crochets. After you finish your treble crochets, you're just going to complete that pattern, continue that pattern all the way down until you reach this point right here at the corner. Remember, we're not going to complete that final side, so you're going to do that until you reach that point here. So at this point, this is what it should look like. Remember, we continue that pattern. We just didn't do that bottom side. So we went across and then we went down. So right here, we're at that point. And remember, like we did before, we didn't complete the corner stitch. We only inserted 3 treble crochets. So once you have your 3 treble crochets, you're going to chain 1. And then we're going to grab our next square again. So we're going to repeat the same exact thing that we did. So we're going to insert our 3 treble crochets into our space on our next square, and then we're going to complete the pattern over again. And for your sleeves, you're going to need 6 squares total. So the layout is like 3 squares in the front, 3 squares in the back. So I'm going to meet you guys back once I've completed attaching this 3rd square. Alright, so I am back and I've completed attaching that 3rd square, and this is what the work should look like. We have everything connected, we just don't have that bottom row done. So now what we're going to do is complete that bottom row. So with our 3 treble crochets on our hook right now, you are going to chain up 1. And once you have your chain up 1, you are going to go into that same space with our 3 treble crochets, completing that corner stitch. And then from here, we are going to continue that pattern all the way across. So remember, it's 3 double crochets, and then it's going to be 3 half double crochets into the next space, and then it's going to be 3 double crochets again. And then right here, we are going to insert our 3 treble crochets to complete the corner stitch. And then once you've completed your 3 treble crochets, we are going to insert our hook right in this space right here with a slip stitch to close it. So we have completed the first square, it's now closed. So now we're just going to continue on and doing this for the remainder of our squares, repeating the same thing. So you are going to go right into this next space here, completing 3 more treble crochets for a corner stitch. And like I said, we're just going to repeat that pattern all the way across with our 3 double crochets, 3 half double crochets, 3 double crochets, and then corner stitch again until we reach the end. So just keep going, and then I will meet you back once we reach this point right here. So once we reach this point here, we are going to chain up 1, and then we're going to insert our hook into the top of that chain 4 with a slip stitch to close it. So now we have completed attaching all 3 squares. So now we are going to attach 3 more squares for the other side. So I'm going to start with a chain up of 1. And then I'm going to grab my next square. And just like we did before, we are going to yarn over twice, getting ready for a triple crochet. And then we are going to insert it into a space on our new square to attach. So in that new square, we're going to insert 3 treble crochets into that space. So then we are going to turn our work to be side by side, and just like we did before, we are going to be doing our zigzag motion. So to the right, I'm going to slip stitch into this space right here to connect it. So I'm going to insert my hook right here and pull up a loop for a slip stitch. And then again, we're just continuing on with that pattern. So in that next space is going to be 3 double crochets. And we're just going to repeat the same thing like we did before, going down the row with our pattern connecting our squares. And once you've completed your 3 treble crochets, you're going to slip stitch into this space right here. It's a little bit after the corner stitch. you'll see it. So you're just going to insert your hook right there and slip stitch. So then from here, we are going to grab our next square to start connecting. So we're not going to go down the side of this square that we're on right now. We're just going to grab our next square and then start attaching. So right here we have our slip stitch, and then I'm going to yarn over twice, getting ready for a treble crochet, and then again insert it into the corner or any space of our next square, completing our 3 treble crochets to connect. And then you are going to slip stitch to the right once you have your 3 treble crochets, and then again just continue on that pattern. So I will meet you back at the end once I've completed attaching all 3 squares. Okay, so I have attached all 3 squares, and this is what the work looks like so far. So at this point here, I have just inserted my 3 treble crochets, and then I slip stitch to the right to connect. So now I'm just going to continue that pattern. So I'm going to chain up 1, and then in that same space I'm going to insert 3 more treble crochets to complete a corner stitch. And then I'm going to continue on with the pattern with our 3 double crochets, 3 half double crochets, so on and so forth. And I'm going to complete that for the next 3 sides. So I'm going to go down this way, go down, and then I'm going to go back down again. So I will meet you back once I reach this point right here. Alright, so I've completed all sides of this square. So I have my 3 treble crochets on my hook currently, and then I'm just going to slip stitch to connect it, and I'm just going to go into this space right here with a slip stitch, and now that first square is now completed. So then I am going to go into this space here with our 3 treble crochets again to complete a corner stitch. So there's already 3 treble crochets in that space, so I'm just adding 3 more to it to complete the corner. And then once I have my 3 stitches, I'm going to go to the right and slip stitch into this space right here to connect, and continue on doing the same thing, going back and forth, doing the pattern. So the next space should be 3 double crochets. So you're just going to keep going back and forth, and then you're going to go down the side until you reach this point right here, and then you're going to continue that until you've completed attaching all 3 of your squares. And once I reach my last stitch where I've inserted my 3 double crochets, I'm going to slip stitch into that space right here to close it. And then I like to just go over 1 more stitch and just add another slip stitch just for extra security. So I'm going to chain 1 and cut and fasten off. And we have completed our first sleeve. So we just attach 6 squares. So we have 3 on each row, and this is what the panel should look like for each sleeve. Okay, and then we're just going to fold it in half with our right sides facing each other, because now we're just going to close up our sleeve. So I'm going to close up our sleeve. So you see here, I'm just going to go down the row. I'm going to go down both sides, inserting 1 single crochet in each stitch. Now you can do slip stitch if you want, but I'm just going to do single crochets. So I'm going to reattach my yarn, and I'm going to insert it into this space right here, the corner space, with a slip stitch to attach. And then I'm going to go ahead and insert a single crochet in each stitch, making sure that I'm keeping it aligned as straight as possible, and just go through with my single crochets, making sure that I'm going through both panels and making sure they're connected. So go ahead and complete that, and I will meet you back at the end once I've completed all my single crochets. Alright, I'm back and I've completed all my single crochets, and I still have my yarn attached because I'm going to do some extra rows. So with the yarn still attached, I'm going to turn the work right side out, just because I don't want to work on the inside of the sleeve. I want to work on the outside of the sleeve. So I'm going to turn it right side out, And this is what the work looks like. I know I have some ends that I need to weave in, but I digress because I am not doing that right now. But just for some extra length, I am going to go in and do a couple rounds of just our granny stitch. Now, this is optional. You don't really have to do this, but I just want it to be a little bit longer on me. Say if you wanted to add another square, if you wanted your sleeve to be 4 squares long instead of 3 squares long, I mean, you can by all means do that. I just didn't end up doing that, so I'm just adding a couple rows of the granny stitch around. So in that first space I chained up 3 and then I went in with 3 double crochets. So then I'm just going to go around in each space inserting 3 double crochets, and I'm going to do this for a total of 4 rounds. So I'm just going to go around and around with my 3 double crochets. So I will meet you back once I have all my rows completed. Like I said, this was just for me to add a little extra length to my sleeve. Once I've completed all my rows, I'm going to go in with another optional row. I'm just going to go in with some single crochets just to give it that finished trim look. So I did chain up 1, and then I'm just going to insert 1 single crochet at the top of every double crochet in the round, and I'm only going to do this for 1 row. So I'm just going around inserting my single crochets. And this is the final look of the sleeve. So I have 3 squares attached, and then I did some extra rows just for a little extra length. So you're just going to go ahead and repeat the same process for another sleeve because we're going to need 2. And yeah, so I will meet you once I have completed both my sleeves. And off camera, I did go ahead and attach my squares for my front and back panel of the body of the top. So I just did the same join as you go method. I have 4 squares for the front, 4 squares for the back. So everything is connected except the 2 middle squares. Because if it were to be closed, it wouldn't give that V-cut look. So you just don't attach the middle, and that's what gives it that V-neck look for the top. So this is the layout of the panels for the front and back. So it's just 4 squares on each side. It's just that middle panel. I'm sorry, the 2 middle squares just aren't connected. Now for the top, to keep its V-neck shape, I am going in with some wire that I got from Walmart. I actually had this in my stash because I was planning on making some like flowers, bouquets and things as such. So this is why I have it. But yes, like I said, I got this from Walmart. It's like wrapped wire. I'll link it down below. But all I did was just kind of fold it in half to create a V shape. And I lined it up with the opening that I have on the top here. And then once I've got it lined up, I'm just going to bend it to the right because that is going to be like the top of the square. So right here you see I'm just bending the wire just to kind of give it that V shape. So I'm just making sure that everything is bent evenly, because then we're just going to go in with our single crochets. We're going to go in and we'll have it lined up here, and then we'll just single crochet across, but we'll hold the wire up while we're doing our single crochets to connect it. I'm really hoping I'm making sense. So with whatever color that you're choosing to do for your trimming, I chose to do pink. You can continue on with the color that you use to join your squares. But whatever color you choose, you're just going to attach it to the corner of your work at the top, and then you're going to chain 1. And like I said, we're going to be using some single crochet. So I'm just going to single crochet at the top of every stitch all the way across. And then we're going to go down the front panel as well. But remember, we're going to be holding our wire to connect the wire and then cover it as we go. So I'm just going to go in with my single crochets, and I will meet you once I reach the point where I need to grab my wire. Alright, so I have reached the point where my wire is now ready to be attached. So I'm just going to hold it up And then you just want to make sure that it's behind your working yarn. So I'm just going to go in with a single crochet, making sure that the stitch is going around the wire like this. So then I'm just going to bend this little piece back just to make sure that it doesn't go anywhere. So I'm just going to bend it back. And the good thing about this wire is it's not too thick where you need pliers or anything like that. So you can use it with your hands and it doesn't hurt. It's thick enough for what you need to do. So I'm just going to make sure everything is aligned up properly, and I'm just going to continue on with my single crochets. Just making sure that it's wrapping around that wire. So I'm just holding it up against the work and continuing on with my single crochets. Okay, so I have completed all my single crochets, and I did go ahead and continue on around the base of the top with single crochets. I didn't do this in my first one. I just got a little happy, I guess, and entered flow state, so I just kept going. But you don't have to do that. You can really just do it just for the top, but I don't know. I just felt like I wanted to keep going with my single crochets. So yeah, so this is what the work looks like so far. This is the front and back panel of our top. So now we're just going to go ahead and attach our sleeves. So actually here I am showing you how I'm attaching my sleeves. After I tried the top on, I did go ahead and take the sleeves off and reattach it to a different point. So I will point it out right here. But I'm just weaving through and then tying a knot. But I didn't actually put it right here. This is where I attached my yarn. So I just went ahead and went in with tying a knot. I know you can do this with like a single crochet or a slip stitch, but I just tied a knot. So I did that for both sleeves, and then yeah. So once you have both sleeves attached, you are going to go ahead and flip your work over, because this is what it'll look like. So you're going to flip it over, and then on the back side, I did go ahead and add some drawstrings in the back because I kind of gave it like a corset in the back just so it will be tighter and adjustable to your size. So for my chain, I did go ahead and chain 110. This probably was a little bit too long, but I just wanted to make sure that I had enough. So once I have my chains on my hook, I did go ahead and attach it to the back of the back panel with a slip stitch. So right here, I'm just going to insert my hook and then pull through with the slip stitch. And then I did the same thing for the other side. So I chained another 110 and then I attached it with a slip stitch to the other side. So here I have both chains, and I'm just going to crisscross them and loop them back and forth. There's no particular way to do this. There's no specific spot where you're going to loop in your yarn, just wherever you feel comfortable. You can do less crosses, more crosses if you want it really tight. So just keep going back and forth, weaving in your chain wherever you feel like you want to. So once you finish weaving through your drawstring in the back, you are done with your top. Like I said, it's going to be fully adjustable. This was a freehand project, so I do apologize if I don't have like full measurements to make in certain sizes, but honestly it's just squares. If you want your squares to be bigger, you can just add extra rounds of round 4. Just do another round. But thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at lovinghaji, and I will see you guys in my next video.